to make sure that everybody had an opportunity to be here. We want to make sure everybody's in the room together so we can have a conversation. We certainly understand your fiscal problem. We have had several meetings with several different folks along the line, so we're trying to help with that. We'll try to continue to do that. So, I guess back in January, y'all had a meeting talking about the T-Splosh deal.
It just seems like a week or so ago. Has it been that long?
How many weeks?
3 weeks before y'all went into session, whatever that was. Because I remember it was 3 weeks before session started.
In February then.
We did an organization session back in January too, that could have been part of that too. So I don't remember some of it again, so. This is the 6th one, so great. I don't have an answer in my pocket. Start right there, and we just kind of go around the table and see what. I had a number of meetings with Bob, and conversations, and he's giving me a good bit of information about the finances and the situation. Go ahead, Jason.
I know Bob brought you up to speed on that, but this is something I passed out to the commissioners today at our commission meeting. This, you know, and we're willing to work with you guys with whatever, new revenue, shared revenue, redistribution, whatever you guys want to talk about. We're glad to have that conversation.
This is all the budget side, or the potential budget side of it. Where's the other side of that ledger? What's the revenue that comes? Are we looking at $7.1 million now?
No, this was just, like I said, this is a study sheet for us to look at when we start our budget in June, July. This is just a study sheet for us to look at to see how we're going to cut $500,000 to $700,000 more out of our budget.
And that payroll section, if I may say, is just where they can see the overall payroll. So actually that's just the total. So it's kind of like if we're going to do 5% or 10%, it's going to come out of those.
See, this is all the payrolls, everybody that's on the county's payrolls. The reason that I had Bob to break this out is because the last time when y'all gave us some of the money out of the discretionary fund, or the discretionary board, we only cut courthouse hours because public works, sanitation, park, some of these other things had money. You know, our problem is in our general fund. And the fact that we're not doing enough on the roads is a huge problem as well. But our problem is our general fund. And this is stuff that some of it comes out of the general fund and some of it doesn't. On the laborers, that's why you can't look at if 5% across the board is not going to save us what this number is, because it doesn't all come out of the general fund. You know what I'm saying? That's why I passed this sheet out for people to start looking at, because we got to start doing that math and seeing what the actuals are if we cut just the courthouse or whatever.
Okay, so what would your plan be if nothing happens?
Well, if we don't get a new revenue or a shared revenue, you know, we've got to cut $500,000 to $700,000. That's what we're up against. And you know, nobody likes new taxes, and I'm not here to say that's the only option, and I'm not saying that I want a new tax. But you know, that resolution that we sent, that was the pro rata sharing. You know, if we done something like that and took part of the obligation off the general fund that is the jail, you look at the labor only for the jail. You know, that's a pretty substantial amount right there just in labor. I mean, anything like that will help us. I'm not opposed to the SPLOST tax. I don't think we could get a SPLOST tax together now and get a problem fixed before next year. So that would put us probably having to go through 2 budget cycles before we could even introduce a SPLOST. Because, you know, if we'd have started it 6 months ago, we might have could have squeezed it together, but I mean, you're talking about a lot of roads and a lot of bridges to designate, in a shorter period of time. And I just don't think, you know, we had talked at one time, and I talked to the school boards about possibly sharing the 2 cents that's already collected. I went to the school board, got Tim last week, talked to the 2 superintendents about doing 12.5% off the education tax that's already collected, doing the pro rata sharing through the revenue commission's office, and possibly the commission passing some business license tax, franchise tax, and excise tax to replace part of their dollars. They wouldn't go for it. So we offered them part of the internet sales, the money that we get that's off the internet sales, offered to split that with them, and still wouldn't go for it. Offered to do a SPOS tax with the county and the city, and the school boards. They get 50%, we get 50%. We all go together and do a SPOS tax if they would give us a 0.5 cent of sales tax. To me, that's a better option because they get their money back and they get to designate projects and show this is what we're gonna do with these dollars. They've been getting that 2 cents for 20 years or whatever, and you know, this would lay out exactly what's gonna do with it for 4 years or 5 years or whatever the SPOS comes. I'm not opposed to the SPOS, but it won't fix our general fund problem unless you put it to stuff that people's not gonna be agreeable to. It's not gonna be, it's not gonna look good at the ballot when you wanna put it toward salaries or toward, you know, and that's not what a SPOS is designed for.
No, but if you put it toward roads or bridges or whatever you need over here.
Or a new school or a new ball field at this place or what, I mean, I'm for it.
You have money over here that
Yeah.
you can use for salaries.
Yeah. And that's something that we could look at putting together for next session. But we need to do something to fix us for the next 2 budgets.
Because presidential primary in May or March of next year.
Yeah, but if we don't get something on the ballot for then we have to do.
For the general and
Right, yeah, we'll have to do the general for 2020, which means y'all go through this session and next year's session. We have to have our budget passed by the end of September.
Still,
we're
6 months.
Yeah.
Something. We could have it on there, but we can get that, we can get this done. We can get that done, I think. Richie's question was, I think, was that if you were to do this T-Splash that you're talking about, and you designate these projects out there, and that you're gonna do, would that free up any of your money that's out there existing to help on the other side?
We're already not putting some of the dollars that go into the general fund that we should be funneling into our road. We're not able to do that. We're in the road and bridge fund, and you know, there's a AG's opinion that it can be spent on general fund items.
Right.
And that's what's keeping us afloat now.
All right. Something we discussed, if you did a T-Splost, is there any way that you could, put a 0.25% administrative fee with that to take out of that every year?
I would assume it. I mean, you guys can do, I don't know, you know, I said, I don't know
if
if
it's possible or not.
Yeah.
But here's where I'm at on it. Me and Tim and I, we've had a long discussion, Mike, we talked about it. Coming off of a gas tax, if you don't name them projects, if you don't list them projects, I don't see people here voting for it.
They're not going to.
I just don't see it.
It ain't gonna happen now. I can tell you right now.
That little article came out in the paper just 3 or 4 weeks ago where we mentioned something, just a resolution tax deal. That's when the phones start ringing and you beat people on the street, you know, and they're not happy.
I mean, as a voter, I told Tim the other night, I said, Tim, I said, as a voter, I don't know what's going on, and I look at an amendment, and it just says 75% of this will go on the roads and bridges. Well, how, at the end of the year, am I gonna know that you actually did that or not? How would I know it? You see what I'm saying? I mean, most voters gonna look at it that way, and they're gonna say, they're not gonna fix them. But if you list them projects,
problem we got now is everybody in the general public thinks that all the sales tax comes to the county. Remember, we get it 100%, and they think that we're in charge of that money. They don't realize it's going to the schools. That's the problem.
That's been the battle right now.
Oh, yeah, I understand, yeah.
That ain't
More
changed.
people have been educated here lately.
Yeah, exactly.
When we talked about it, me and you did, Tony, is, you know, we got, this flood from down, the problem is we got $6.1 million worth of damage right now. If we had splash tax, we'd still have $6.1 million worth of damage if we couldn't fix it. Because we would have designated projects, but we couldn't fix the $6.1 million worth of damage.
But in this instance, you could name that as part of that.
Well, I mean, we could now, but what I'm saying is, what if we had a tornado next year? Is what I'm saying is, it don't fix the general fund problem, is what that's the only concern I have, we're still screwed on the general fund, I don't know how to fix it.
The people are not gonna let you do that, they're not gonna do that.
I understand what you're saying, and I agree with you, but I'm just saying, I'm still over a barrel, and I don't know how to fix it, because this county's gonna be broke in 2 years, regardless if we don't do something. I mean, this county's gonna go under in 2 years, period. I mean, we can do projects, cows come home, but we're still gonna be broke in 2 years.
Is what you want is trying to fund the overhead.
It's been stated right there, it's just what I've talked to y'all about before, just what Danny mentioned. They have no idea that that money is going to education. I mean, it's nothing there that.
That's nothing new, that's been that way since it's done.
Right, but if we had that 1%, you know, 1%, and them still come up with their.
$6 million.
Huh?
1%, $6 million.
$6 million, and it's gonna continue to grow. But then you see something being built out here, some roads being paved, some bridges being redone, people's gonna start, the morale's gonna change. Right now, when they walk up to you and they look at you, like I said, Mr. Sis, I kinda thought you might have something to bring to the table, you like the rest of them. All you can say is agree with them. Cause you know, when we got our hands tied, we don't have no funding, there's nothing you can do. And as Jason just stated, we give that 3% raise, we turn around and cut them. Them people, they've got lives, they've got families to take care of. You know, I don't want to have to cut somebody. You know, we mentioned something about the insurance. We're losing employees. We've lost 18 employees since October.
Not gonna ever compete with the private sector, never compete with.
Right.
Don't expect to.
But you know, we want to keep, we've got some good employees, and we need to be bringing in some more.
A lot of what we lose is to other municipalities.
Yeah, they go right across the street, utilities, Scottsboro Utilities, or Scottsboro City or something, you know. We can't compete with them. And, you know, I'm not for taking away that thing education, but, you know, it's not taking it away. It is actually the county's money. It was put out there, and it was changed years ago, and I'm just asking, can it be changed back, where we could have a share of it to move forward?
Do y'all not think that what we were talking about a minute ago, a T-splosh, and do a 0.25% administrative fee would come to the courthouse off of that? You're looking at, with the new gas tax that just passed, that's gonna get you what, 1.1 million a year? Isn't that the projected amount?
No, it's 800,000. Bob got new numbers.
I'm saying that right, there's 1.1 million.
Now, we got some new numbers coming from the numbers, saying 800,000 is our part.
Okay, well, let's say 800,000.
Then they're dropping our federal dollars by 150,000. So you take 150,000 off 800,000. So there's $650,000.
Okay, for the next 3 years, let's go out on a limb here, and let's say we all agree to do this, put it on the ballot, let people vote, okay? And we get it written up to where the county got 0.25%, that's $1.5 million. Right there, administrative fees, is that not right? $1.5 million administrative fee, that go in your general fund. All right, then look at the rest of that $6 million, that $4.5 million plus $650,000 for 4 years. And every penny of that going to roads and bridges in this county, would that not take care of it? Would that not take care of your problems at the courthouse, the overhead, and at the end of 4 years, it'd be more work done on these roads right here than you've ever seen. And you put a 4-year sunset on it, that way the power stays to the people. The people's always got the upper hand. And that's the way government ought to be, in my opinion. The people should have say-so. I mean, now, Bob, I mean, what do you think about that? You're the numbers man. I mean, you're looking.
Well, let me just give you a little quick snapshot on our general fund. Here's what a lot of people don't realize. 55% of our total general fund goes to just the sheriff and the jail. That's it. And that leaves 45% to run every other county agency we've got. And our jail is having a hard time keeping jailers right now. I mean, it's a turnover machine. They pay, I think, $11.91 or right around $12 for a jailer. And they just can't keep people in there. Sheriff's Department, I don't know how many deputies we've lost over the last 2 or 3 years. We definitely don't have a case of having too many deputies on the road in our county. Now the sheriff's talking to us about helping him pay for cars because he's not getting enough money out of his, some of the funds he's got. I'm just being honest with you guys. It's
Well, how much are you talking about? I mean,
what are you talking about?
what we're looking at here on the T-Splost and using and charging a 1/4% administrative fee, give you $1.5 million a year in the general fund.
Right.
It would give you, in 4 years' time, nearly $20 million on your roads and bridges.
I think that's great, Tommy. I honestly,
Now, I get it.
I'll explain it to you from my side, the way I look at that. And I think it's great, and it would work, and it would look great. But it gives us no security. So just like last year, we gave a 3% raise. If we give another raise or whatever, and then that don't pan out, next time, 4 years down the road, then you have raised your overall expenditures and your day-to-day business to match that. And I'm not saying we would, but 4 years from now, there may be somebody else sitting in this thing. So what scares me is it works for 4 years and then it falls off. And you can't get it put back on for whatever reason. The economy turns down, whatever. And then you're looking at some real problems.
Well, it's up to the people.
Well,
I mean, the people that I talked to, now, back when we first ran in 2012, first time I ever met you, boy. First time I ever met you. Everywhere we went and spoke, the #1 issue was what? Roads. Don't you think that if you put $20 million in 4 years on the road, that they wouldn't vote for it again?
I would think so, but anything can happen. I mean,
so you don't want a sunset?
Well, no, I would
That's
be fine
basically
with
what
it.
you're saying.
I would be fine with it if we have some security. Why would you not put the schools in the same box with us? Why are we the ones that just get a temporary, a sunset, and the school systems get 2 cents for eternity? I mean, why would you not put us in the same box with the school system? Why not give us a 1/2 cent, do a 1 cent splash tax? If it passes, the schools get their 1/2 cent back, and we get a 1/2 cent, but the only people like you're demanding that they lay out projects as well. I mean, to me, that would be and then we've got a 1/2 cent that we can count on for the future. And the performance is not just on the county, the performance is on education as well.
See, I got the school tax out there, I keep going back to that, Bob can correct me, 2015, it's $38 million, I believe, what we talked about before, Tommy. Now they got $50 million this past year.
I don't know how much it is. Julie's been trying to find out.
Well, that's what he said that day.
You talking about Jackson County?
Jackson County.
Yeah, I was talking about the sales.
47 million or something.
Well, no, I come across that day, the CFO, when I asked him, he said, well, you're right, 50 million. That's $12 million increase right there they got. Plus this other here is bumping 13 million, and they're getting 68% of it, the county, 32% for the city. So that right there is a big increase that they're gaining all the time, and the numbers.
But remember, Mike, there was 10 years there, they went this way.
Yeah, but look where we're at.
And I don't wanna do anything
That's the thing.
to be detrimental to the education system. I mean,
Well, that's what we're trying to come up with here is an idea, just leave education alone. Education don't get hurt. They don't get affected. I mean, it doesn't matter what we pitch, it's a bad pitch, it's a ball. It ain't right.
They wouldn't get hurt if they were getting the same funding. The only thing, is they would be on the sunset just like the county, you know? And if they show their performance, the county shows its performance, we get it back again. If they don't, we can't. And I'd be willing to go along with that, you know?
Well, I think we need to cross that bridge when we get to it, but if you've got an opportunity to pass a T-Splosh and get some funding.
If you name that 100 miles of roads that you're gonna resurface in that amendment, I don't care if it takes 2 pages of paper for an amendment for people to read. When them people go to that ballot box and they say, well, here, my road's gonna be fixed, not potholes filled. My road's gonna be fixed. The people might vote for it. They might just
That's what
vote
it
for
is,
it.
1,163 miles, so half of the people in this county ain't gonna get the road fixed, so we half of them
That's
gonna
why
vote for it.
that's why they vote for it back when it comes around again.
Well, it's
The
just
good
like,
news is all of them don't need it.
All of them will vote for it if you don't pay them roads.
Most of them
If you
do, but all of them don't.
vote
you
for it.
county road at 17.
You got to look at what's worked in the past, okay? If you go back and look at Cobb County, Georgia, you know, they implemented this, the voters voted for it, they seen their projects being done, they list the projects, the amount of money it's gonna cost to do each project, they voted it in. 4 years later, what they do? They seen all the projects done, and they done all kind of projects, okay? They fixed bridges, roads, they built a school, they done it all. And 4 years later, on the ballot again, they voted for it again. They see the money being spent in their area, in their district, and they want it fixed. The people want the roads
But you just
fixed.
said build a school, so that's a combination of what Jason just said about the school and us.
That's just where they wrote
Yeah, that's
I
the
know,
way they
but
had
I'm
it.
saying, but that may
They
have
built
something to
schools
do
in their
once again.
squash.
Yeah.
And I'm fine with squash. Richie, I'm not against.
It ain't that I want the splash,
Right.
it's what the people want.
Right, and I understand that completely.
They wanna see their money working on their projects, and they're okay with that.
You wanted to know why I see, what's wrong with it for me, from where I see it. All right, you take County Road 17, it was a trip project, spent, what was it, 1.8 million?
1.8 million.
All right, and then now it's slid off. All right, so if we do that on a splash, if something like that happens, and you don't get it passed, last time when they done a temporary tax to build the jail at midnight, the stroke of midnight, the municipalities, not just Scottsboro, Stevenson, Bridgeport, they kept that tax on. So if you don't get that splash back in 4 years, and the municipalities keep that on there and put it in their coffers, then you're stuck. You can't, I mean, you're talking about 1 to 11 cents, you know? And two, it doesn't give us the stability. You don't have something concrete, you know, you don't have a foundation to build on that you know that you're gonna be at least able to, you know, make ends meet.
We talked about doing a 1 cent sales tax again, but putting on the bill what we'll do with it.
I don't want
About naming,
I don't think a 1 cent tax is out.
it ain't gonna go.
what are you gonna do?
It ain't gonna go.
I don't know.
I mean,
I don't need to make that
The squash
decision.
tax, I hate that I would do the squash, but it ain't gonna fix our problem.
I think if you had election,
It's for a project.
if you had election 6 weeks from
But
today,
that's
tomorrow,
squash.
6 weeks from tomorrow right there, you had election, and you just put out there, not out there, you the people, vote, do you wanna take this 1% from the school tax that you didn't know anything about? 99% of them would vote yes.
I don't believe it will, man.
Yeah, they would. I mean, Paint Rock Valley, they closed down, Tommy. Closed down. That's all these other schools. I've got calls from Section, North Sand Mountain here recently. That's all they heard was, the reason you're not getting what you're supposed to be doing is because it's going to Paint Rock Valley. We didn't get anything. I said, hey, y'all need to go over and talk to the Board of Education. I said, that's what we heard all the time. That money is going somewhere. It's not being spent wisely.
You
We're
got
talking
that.
about 4 weeks. If we got something together in 4 weeks, then we'd have to get the bill ready. So, I mean, I just don't see their time being
Well, what do you propose doing that will pass?
Yeah.
What's your
What's
idea
your
that
idea?
you
What we
can
need to
do
do?
Well, I
that
told you
will
what I think.
pass?
What? Tell me again, I didn't hear.
5% or 25% education, you know, saying no.
And just let people vote on that, let that be it.
Well, we could do that and then do a
I'm
squash,
trying,
and
I'm
then
trying
do a
to give you
squash with
$20
them.
million for your roads right there with a big squad.
But tell me, you're not giving us any kind of stability.
Cross that
You know,
bridge when you
Yeah,
get
you can't worry about that.
Goes back over.
well, yeah, you have to.
That's the whole problem.
You know, you have to.
All right, nothing's gonna happen.
Y'all wouldn't come on across on that education, no? Knowing it's gonna be the
What it
Jackson
boils
County.
down to, I want to get this straight, it doesn't have nothing to do with the roads, it's about the courthouse and what.
No, it's got the
It's
whole.
got the whole
A
thing.
quarter of a percent's not gonna get your roads fixed. It's not gonna get your
And do a
roads fixed.
squash, and do a squash and let
He's
education.
giving you a whole plan.
Yeah, it ain't just one thing. Give us the stability of the 2 cents that's already collected. Give us enough of that we know we're okay. And then we'll do a squash. But give us until next session, till the year 2020 session, for us to get the numbers together and the school board to get their
It's gonna
numbers
be
together.
2020 anyway, before it's voted on.
Well,
You see what I'm saying? It doesn't matter if you get it run in the paper starting tomorrow, it's not gonna be on the ballot till 2020.
I realize that.
So you've got from now till then to get it put together. Why does it have to be put together right now and put it for a vote, and then you gotta sit
Well,
back
he
and wait
was
for
thinking,
2020?
he was thinking that by March, primary.
We cannot put together 2 more budgets without cutting council on aging, our people's hours.
I understand that, but you're missing my point, Jason. Nothing's gonna be voted on until 2020 anyway.
Yeah, but if we,
But if we put in one budget, we got $1 million. You're right, but we got $1 million, all right? If we pass a $500,000 budget deficit this year, then y'all go into session next year, it's not gonna be voted on until November. Right?
It could be a March primary, couldn't it?
no,
You couldn't get it, could you?
no.
You couldn't get it through session and on March primary.
If you had it ready to go and drop the first day,
Well, so
and then
that's
go
what
to the
Jason
first
said,
week.
there's no way we get a squash ready and advertise
This session.
this session.
I disagree.
I disagree with that too.
Jonathan said there's no way he'd get the numbers together.
And I called Mr. Campbell and said, if
You got 1,100 miles of road. You take 100 miles of the worst that you have, you triage it out, say, here's 100 miles, county road, whatever, we're gonna fix that road, we're gonna fix this road, we're gonna fix that road, this bridge, and this bridge. It can't be that hard.
It ain't as easy as you think.
Everything's got specifications. It's all
You want to call
specifications.
it?
It's all federal funds, major collectors, minor
It's gonna say
collectors.
something.
No, you leave all that out. You're not dealing with feds in the state of Alabama.
I know, but I'm just saying, he's gotta make his decision on what's gonna start getting federal funds, what's gonna get these funds.
So
Why do we wanna fix
not
something
money.
that's gonna get federal funds anyway? We wanna spend our money on something that's not gonna get federal funds.
Amen. That's right. If we don't know that, then
He knows that, but there's a matter of getting that list down and narrowed down. And then you may do a mile of this road is all that's bad, like I said. Every road in the county is not bad. There might be 2 miles of county road 8 that is.
And you put that
2
down.
miles of, but that's what he's saying, it's gonna take time to go through the inventory and see.
You have to look at the base of those roads, and some roads
And like Mr. Govey
30,000
said,
a mile, some cost 60,000 miles.
Right.
There's a big up base failure. I mean, it's not just.
it's not just go out there and pave it, you gotta fix the base failures. And he was saying when the lack of competition with our pavers around here, the price is gonna be outrageous.
you got a new competitor coming to town.
That's gonna help, cause it.
And again, 17, you know, what if we don't do our due diligence in coming up with the scope of work on these roads? And we do a project and something like 17 happens, and
17 did happen, and it was an A-trip road.
yeah. and
That's
then-
the first thing that everybody in Montgomery said when I posted that on Facebook. That's an A-trip road.
And then you can't get it repassed, you know, and then the municipalities they keep it on the books, you know, then, you know, that just, I
That
mean,
keeping
you
it
have
on
to
the
look
books.
at-
You're never gonna have the money to fix $4 or $5 million projects, no matter what we do here today. You're not.
We got a
gonna have
neighboring
that money.
county sitting on $10 million in their reserves, you know, and we down to a little over $1 million in
Well, I
reserves.
mean, you just, for all practical purposes, what, you got 5 of those projects right now, isn't that what you told me? Is over $1 million a piece?
Oh,
No matter what we do right here, you won't have the money
so
for
we're
that.
gonna have to borrow the money and pay.
That's right.
Pay payments
That's
on it.
exactly.
And we'll get a big chunk of that back from
FEMA,
FEMA,
hopefully.
but,
3 or 4 years.
yeah, 3 or 4 years from now,
If you're lucky.
you know.
But you have
So
to
this
pay
new
first.
gas tax, 50% of that can go to pay a bond.
Right.
So that's probably what we're gonna wind up having to do, even if we fix the general fund stuff, or if we don't fix the general fund stuff. That, you know, that's a totally different budget, and that's probably what we're gonna have to do in order to, and then, like Mr. Gutty said, contractors are covered up. Our price to fix it, going by the book, what the state says a dump truck, you know, should charge, and the man hours and everything, was $2.1 million. Well, the contractor look at it, it's $2.8 million to fix it. We can probably fix it for less than $2 million, do it ourselves, because the actuals won't match what the book is, you know, as far as, you know, charging out from machinery and stuff. But we've got 19 pairs of boots on the ground. So if we're working on 17 to fix it ourselves, then we're not doing anything else in the rest of the county for 6 months or whatever it takes to fix that problem. So nothing's getting done anymore. I mean, we're jammed up. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. I mean, we are in a mess.
So what you're saying is, write up a bill, let the people vote, take 0.5% of that 2%, and that's it.
No, and then do a splash with education. Give us a splash to do with education. And that'd replace the 0.5% we take from education, and
How do you write that up, one bill and one?
it won't be one bill, Tommy.
Two bills.
It'll be two bills. Yeah,
It would have to
fix us right now. And in between now and 2020 session, we get together and do the splash.
be. Now, let's go out in the future here and say that people don't vote for you. Your school tax bill.
The splosh.
No, let's say they vote for the SPOS, but they don't wanna take nothing from education.
Why ain't you got to vote on it?
Huh?
Y'all can just do that by amendment, can't you? Can't y'all just go down there
Well, I
and do it?
told y'all, 3 of us has never agreed on that anyway. We've never agreed.
Well, if y'all surprise us and bring it 1% of the table right there, we'll have $6
He
million.
said, hey, he keeps saying.
I said 1, because $3 million don't buy much. It don't buy
If we're
very
gonna
little.
do a splash a year down the road, 0.5%. would be-
The county here, one reason the county, not only that, the roads are hurting the school system. My school bus hood cracked. They had to spend money to buy me a new hood for my
I
bus
understand all
because of
that.
the roads. Well, don't put words in my mouth, sir, and say that I'm all for it when you haven't even bothered to listen to what I've had to say.
Never mind.
She's working on both sides of the table, so
Yeah,
she's got a mess with there, but
A quarter of a percent would bring in $1.5 million, and, you know, that would fix our immediate problem and give us some stability if we got growth. But then if we do the splash, I don't know if I'd want to do a 50-50 split with the splash to replace, you know, schools getting even more. I mean, do a 75-25, the county gets 75% of a splash tax, and the school system get 25% of the splash tax.
hey, that's what they've been asking. When y'all gonna bring the lottery? When you gonna bring the lottery?
Like you said this week.
Yep.
Well, I'll go back to the 5%, Tommy.
We can't touch anything with the municipalities.
Okay, I was just asking. And like he was talking about the 0.25%, well, everybody shake me off now.
The reason I said to keep on that 1% was because that would give us time to get our feet back on the ground. And that right there is the taxpayers' money anyway.
I don't want more than we need.
But
I
that's
don't
what
think, and I want the people.
All right, if we're looking back just the previous 6 years, that's what we're talking about. The sales taxes, just the 2% has gone from 8 to 12.5, maybe 13 million. Okay? Now the other side is the 4% tax, state tax that's collected through all of our county citizens also. That's gone from 16 million to about 26 million. Y'all agree on that? Everybody?
Yeah.
Right, that's about $15 million more money that's coming out of Jackson County taxpayers. Every dime of that's going to education now. And nothing is going to the county. All right, during that time, both school boards has declined about 6 to 8% in their students. County boards lost 16.3% of their students since 2001. Just in the last 6 years, though, they've lost about 9%, and the city's lost about 7%, and they've closed schools. So, in looking at that extra $15 million, do we not need some accountability on where is that going now to? And why is some of that not going to our roads and to our trash pickup and to other things that other county citizens need that do not work in education or what? It's almost like anything can go as long as it's education and not be questioned. And I know it's unpopular, but somewhere, are we gonna wait till it gets to $20 million extra in another 2 years? I mean, where do we stop and say, is it time to redistribute some of that 2%? Because that was done, what? One of them was done in 69 and one of them was done in 97. And I would almost assure you that if the school systems hasn't seen this dramatic increase in sales tax over the past few years, they would be back needing another % right now too. Well, the counties have nothing to offset their loss, nothing. And that's why, that's my point. Like, when do we look at that extra $14 or $15 million that Jackson County taxpayers are paying, and every dime of that's going to education? And whether it stays in our county or not, I don't know. Like I mentioned the other day, I don't know if every dime of that, but that 4% is earmarked for education. So all that money that I or any other taxpayer that lives in our county is paying, there's an extra $15 million going to education that wasn't going there 6 years ago. And both of our school systems has declined and closed some schools. So all I'm saying is, somewhere, do we not owe it to the taxpayer to analyze that extra $15 million and just ask the question, is it time for some of that to be redistributed to other areas in the county that needs it? That's
just like these guys and us here, they do have an elected school board. That's your accountability factor.
We went from the last time we talked to letting that idea go to the vote of the people. Now don't let them vote, just take it. That's where we are now, right? You remember the last discussion was to let the people vote on it, that you and I had.
Yep, vote on which what now?
The 0.5% from the school.
If that's what it has to be, I mean,
you said that. The last time you and I talked, you said that.
I said that I was fine with that, yes, absolutely. If it's gotta go to a vote, go to a vote. But something's gotta be tried, done, something. Because if not, we're sinking, that bottom line, And that's why I was saying, why put us in a box by ourselves? Why not put education in the same box? And let them,
We're gonna have to do a squash, but it was never discussed until today of doing both. Prior to any discussion today, it was just give us 0.5% from school. Now, if you was in on the meeting, the two of us talked.
I know,
The
when
two of us talked, and
yeah,
it was 1/2. Now you're wanting a penny.
yeah, I told you later on right there, I said at 1%, these taxpayers' money, it's like Bob
It's
said,
all taxpayers.
it's all, yeah. It would put us in a position where we can get out, be able to make that splash thing work later on.
ever since that we met, end of January, February, I've spent 15, 20 hours a week meeting with Bob or meeting with the revenue commissioner or probate judge or going to, sitting down with the school administrator. I mean, I've racked my brain. I mean, there's a lot of different things that y'all can do, but we can't do any of it, you know?
As far as the county right now, I'll assure you, when we sit down to do the budget, and this will be without adding anything in, we're gonna be $500,000 to $700,000 short. And what stands to lose is nothing else getting done to the roads. If we close down the senior RPT, you're looking at 300 customers, of which about 80% live in the city of Scottsboro. Senior RX, they're 400 customers, about 80% of the customers are countywide, but about 80% are in the city of Scottsboro. You're gonna have a lot of people that depend on these services, and there's just not gonna be money, there's not gonna be money left to run. And then your employees are gonna have another year of no raise and possibly participating in helping pay their insurance. So you're gonna have morale just continuing to decline with all the employees that are still with the county. And most of our employees are going to other